Thanks for tuning in to Old Ass Movie Reviews. Today, Dave and I will be discussing the classic Seven Samurai from Akira Kurosawa.
Welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews with Scott and Dave. We are going to review The Seven Samurai, Akira Kurosawa's masterpiece.
All right.
That's your turn now, Scott.
It's my turn. Okay.
Your turn.
Masterpiece? Yes. Absolutely. Long? Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very long.
I love the movie. I'm so happy that we were taking the time to go in and review some movies that I should have seen a long time ago. And I think
you never saw this one either?
No.
Oh, okay.
See, I have missed so many classics, and
Right.
Watching this movie was eye-opening because I saw Magnificent Seven, I saw Bug's Life, where they actually ripped right from this movie.
Oh, yeah.
In some cases, almost same scene.
Yeah.
And it's wow. This is quite an undertaking for when he did. What was the year?
1954.
54. To get this many people together and do such a epic long form movie like this.
Mm-hmm.
The first half I really enjoyed more than the second half, which is interesting because the second half is the big battle. The bandits are attacking the village and everything.
Right.
I'm just going to get this out of the way. I think it drug on a little too long. I know. I believe that it could have been chopped up a little bit. It was way. I see your face. To me, it was way too much on the back
Sacrilege.
half. Yeah.
Sacrilege.
It doesn't mean it wasn't good. It just, I felt it could have, I think it suffered, in my opinion. I have a short attention span sometimes. It's like, come on now. Are we going to keep.
Right.
There were some little side things that never really went anywhere. Now, that being said, if Kurosawa would have been given the ability to do like a trilogy or stretch things out, this thing could have been even bigger and and more to it. This was more like a television series that needed a few more episodes if it was going to go that far.
Right.
But
yeah, like if it was on Netflix now, it would have a miniseries.
Oh, it would be
definitely 6 or 8
definitely.
episodes easy.
And we could get into some of the backstories of some of these people. Like I think it was Monzo. Was it his wife that was over at the bandits in the barn?
Yeah, where they burned it out.
She sees him and she runs back into the fire.
Well, I think she had just lost her mind by that point. Like,
but I need to know about that. I need to know that story. So I was thinking, damn, there's a whole episode right there on what's going on there. And the young farmer, I'm going to butcher some names, so please forgive me, everybody.
Go right ahead, because it's hard for me to remember names
I think
in
it's
general.
Rikichi or Ricky or
The younger guy.
Yeah, what the hell? Rikichi. Yeah, he needed more. There needed to be more with him. It just seemed like, my God, this is a hell of an undertaking, and I have nothing but great things to say about this movie. But it's like, holy crap, there was so many stories there. But now that being said, the rest of it was really good to me. Really cool cinematography, beautiful movie. Oh.
Nobody sets up a scene like Kurosawa. I mean, it's a masterclass in and of itself.
It is. Even though this thing's in black and white, that itself is a masterclass, as you say. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. The only other complaint I had, I got one more, and it was there was a lot of wailing and crying, and it just grated on my nerves.
Yeah. I think they were trying to set up, or it seems like he was setting up for the farmers to be so miserable and put upon that's when they would wail. That's why he had the one the young guy, they called him 13 for a while there, and then they changed his name to Kikuchio.
Oh yeah.
The guy with the really long sword.
Kuchio, yeah.
Yeah, he
my favorite character in the movie.
He'd start yelling at the farmers for wailing. which was funny because he'd run over and start slapping him, telling him to shut up. Stop it, be a man. Get back to your post. And
stop
he would
crying.
just, like the rest of the samurai would stand there and just be like, oh, calm down. He'd walk over and start hitting him.
He was crazy.
Yeah, he's a good character though.
He was my favorite character. There is even, you mentioned that he would holler at the villagers to shut up and stop the crying.
Yeah.
But at one point, see, Kuchio, all he does in the movie is yell.
Yeah.
And one of the other samurai are like, why the hell are you always yelling?
Yeah. Shh, quiet. We'd be able to sneak up on people if you would just be quiet.
He was nuts. I looked him up, Toshiro Mifune.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He has done a ton of movies, and he did a lot with Kurosawa. In fact, all of these guys did. But
that was like his core group. I mean, he got a core group of actors, and he took them into a lot of movies with him.
Yeah.
Mifune is probably one of my favorite actors, I would think, of all time, because I've just seen him in so many different movies.
Right.
And probably all Kurosawa films, if I come to really think about it. I'm sure I've seen him in some movies that I didn't realize were Kurosawa films. But that guy, when he walks on to a set or he is in camera, you're not looking at anybody else. This guy is such a presence. It's a master presence where he walks in and everybody just stops and looks and goes, tell me what to do now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he has got such a presence. And from the minute he showed up, it was like, who the hell is this guy? And you can't take your eyes off of him. There was another one that, not the lead one, but the kind of baldish guy who showed up pretty early.
The guy who played Gorby?
No, the other one. I think he was the guy with the bow.
Oh, okay. I got those two mixed up all the time.
Yeah, yes, Soroji. The actor's name is Daisuke Kato, but
yeah,
I
know who you're talking
about. He was comical.
He takes a couple of people, and the thing is, he's such a good samurai, but he's also kept part of his sense of humor, and I think that's what kept him going as a character. I think that's that. He'd seen a lot of battle. He had been just like Mifune's character, but he kept a little bit more humor, whereas Mifune was much more strict and very, stoic at all times, until you see him kind of loosen up when all the rest of the samurai are with him, especially that guy with the bow. You see him starting to go, okay, there's more to life than just samuraiing, whatever they call it. Yeah, the kid worshipped him.
Yeah,
the young kid just was like all about like, this guy's the samurai, this is my master, and he's like, I'm nobody's master, man. I'm a Ronin. Just go away. He's like, well, I'm gonna follow you anyway.
Yeah.
Come on, puppy. Just come follow me then. Just watch what I do, and I'm not gonna teach you anything. Right. Just watch what I do.
The main samurai, Shimada, the one that starts off at the village at the beginning, getting his head shaved, getting ready to go save
that's Mifune.
Actually, no, that's Takashi Shimiro. Mifune was the crazy guy with the long sword.
Mifune, I know who Mifune is. Mifune was the guy who went in and got the little kid out of the farm.
Unless IMDb's wrong.
They're wrong.
Okay. Anyway, regardless, we're still butchering names. The main samurai.
I'm still going to destroy all their names.
It doesn't matter.
That's the guy.
It matters to them, but well, they're dead. Okay.
I think so. I think everybody that was in that.
I think everybody is. He was a great character, like you said. Though he was very, very stoic and very. But he was solid, man. That was a powerful character. The whole group, what I wasn't expecting was the amount of humor in this movie.
I know, right?
Holy crap. There's slapstick in it. It's just It's
Yeah.
nuts. It's funny.
The Hidden Fortress is like that too. Hidden Fortress, not as long, story's a little bit more compact, probably more up your alley as far as like storytelling and
Right.
the edits and the cuts and stuff. But yeah, the humor, and you got to figure Japan was coming out of World War II,
Mm-hmm.
nine years after World War II,
Yeah.
and for Kurosawa or any writer, any Japanese writer, to find any humor in anything at that point is just amazing to me. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I could have done it. I don't know if I could do it.
Well, that's one of the things I was thinking the whole time watching. It's like, man, this is just a few years after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
They've I guarantee everybody there knew somebody that died. They lost people.
Oh yeah.
Complete cities wiped out.
Probably in battles too. I mean, they probably fought.
And for them to come back and make a movie that soon after, and just it's amazing. Just the technological feat of doing what he did with this. It looks great. It sounds great. Everything is put together well. It's a very solid movie. And you see why so many movies are based off of it. I'm watching the movie and I'm thinking, if this was made in the U.S., it would be a Western. This is a Japanese Western. Yeah. That's all it is.
That's what it is. It's exactly what it is.
And it's set back. This was in the 1500s. So it's...
they had the warlords and all the battles going on.
Right. Very, very cool. It caused me to look up why all their heads were shaved, just on the top.
It was so somebody couldn't grab them, right?
Maybe so. And
I thought that's what it was for.
That sounds plausible. One of the reasons that I saw was because the helmets were so hot if you had hair there. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it could be both.
Wow.
Because I was like, why does everybody look so funny with their head shaved?
Right.
Or their hats.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
What about the villagers? There was an allusion to a story.
Slackers. They were slackers.
Yeah, there was. They had hidden reserves.
Oh yeah.
They had armor. They had weapons.
Well, you know what they were doing? They were killing running samurai.
Yeah.
Lone samurai would come in, and I would assume that a lone samurai would come into the village and start screwing with them, and they'd kill them. That's why in the very beginning of the movie, the one guy, I think it's not Monzo, it's the young guy,
the one who shaves or cuts his daughter's hair.
Rikishi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm destroying everyone's names because they're it's not my tongue to speak Japanese. I'm sorry. But he is telling the villagers, well, we kill samurai when they come in here. Why can't we kill these guys? And nobody gives them a great answer.
Yeah.
And not one villager answers that question for crap.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we'll go get some other samurai. Well, that's kind of a P4 sort of an excuse.
It is. And it makes me wonder if Kurosawa was trying to say something with this, on a more social meaning or something, with these people who were not helpless, but yet they pretended to be, and needed somebody else to help them, but yet they had everything there. So I just, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But
no, you know what? You bring up a good point, because you got to figure, I think America was still occupying at that point. I think they were still occupying Japan. And that might have been an allusion to, when, we would kill these guys when they came here, but now we can take care of ourselves. And we're still counting on these guys, these foreigners, to come in and take care of us, which when I would never thought of that until you brought that up. So that's a very good point. That could
and I didn't think be. Yeah, I didn't think of the military being there at the time.
And it's subtle. I mean, it's a subtle jab.
I think so.
The Japanese probably picked up on that like right away. They're like, yeah, why? Kurosawa's right. But as an American, we just looked at it and went, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Because I was like, wow, they're not helpless, and they made a point to show that. And And even when they brought out all the armor, the samurai were like, "Oh shit, you guys, you hunted samurai."
Yeah, well, that's like the one guy's all mad about it, and he's like, what was the conversation when they're talking about all the armor, and the main samurai stands up. He's like, he speaks of one who's never been hunted.
Yeah.
He speaks like one who's never been hunted, and he's referring to the guy with the really long sword. He's just like, he's all pissed off, and doesn't understand why the samurai are ticked off. It's like, because you've never had to run for your life.
Right.
You've never been hunted by villagers, by other armies, by the army that you're trying to run away from. Right? Everywhere you go, somebody's trying to kill you.
Yeah, it's
it
was good. It was really good. It's not one I'm returning to anytime soon.
No, you can't. I mean, any Kurosawa film, you can't watch and then go, you know what? I'm going to watch that again tonight. No, that Kurosawa is really deep. You got to sit there and like adjust. You have to soak a lot of his stuff in. Like I said, until you brought up the deeper meaning of the armor, I would have never thought about the occupying forces at the time.
Yeah, it just made me wonder.
But it makes sense. Like you said, he was trying to say something without being blatant about it. I think that might have been it.
I felt without having Keenan Wayans pop up and say "message," it was there was a message there.
Yes, message. Right.
It felt like
there was a message there.
Yeah. And it was.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It was good. Man, it makes me want to watch more of his films. And yes, I have not seen any others.
Okay, no, good. Well, there's plenty Kurosawa.
Yes, there's a lot, and I will be working my way through them.
I think Kurosawa, especially for this particular movie, Seven Samurai, it is quite literally a masterclass. If you're going to be a storyteller, Kurosawa in cinema is a guy to watch. And literally, if you're a student of cinema, if you're going to try and become a director, I would literally say sit down and take notes. On the animation side, I would say Miyazaki. Anything that he's done is just phenomenal. Like even something as sweet and pure as Kiki's Delivery Service it's got a beautiful story. It's got a beautiful, you like who you're supposed to like and you dislike who you're supposed to dislike. Kurosawa is very cinematic, very storyteller. I mean, you basically get to know everything you need to know about every one of those samurai well before they get to the town.
Yes.
Well before they get to where they're going. And for him to have dragged all that out for so long, and it is a long movie. It's like 3 hours, 45 minutes, something like that. It's a long movie. For him to drag that out for so long just to get the group together, that is like half the movie.
It is half. You go to intermission after that, yeah.
Yeah, and then by intermission, I think they're finally going to the town. But you never really look away. You never sit there and go, oh my God, what time is it? Oh, this movie's just so long. Now, you're just really interested in how all these guys are going to get together and how they're all going to get along when they do all get together. The one main character is putting everybody together. He's got the young kid hiding behind the door.
Mm-hmm.
With the stick.
That was great.
He looks at the kid. When he comes to the door, hit him with the stick. And the kid's looking at him like, what? Trust me.
Yeah, because a samurai would not get hit.
Just hit him with the stick.
So when Kichiro shows up and walks through the door, he takes a blow right to the freaking head and goes down.
Goes down like a sack of potatoes, man. And then he's just holding his head. Oh, man, who hit me?
Yeah.
He's not a samurai.
No, but he was awesome. I really loved that character.
Yeah. You knew. I mean, the first time I watched it, I kind of figured he was a farmer or something. I wasn't quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever that lady comes out and she's been speared and she's holding her baby, and he's like holding the kid, he's just having a nervous breakdown right there in the middle of the freaking lake or pond or whatever with the house burning behind him. He's like, oh God. And the guy's looking at him like, what the hell is your problem? Come on.
He
He's
says,
like,
that's me.
Yeah, this is me. This is exactly what happened to me. It's like, oh my God.
That's a touching moment right there. And you see a level
of humor relief. Because the whole time he's basically the humor relief up to that point.
And then he hits that, and that's where I say that this could have actually benefited, as much as I said the movie's too long, it could have benefited by having more, because I want to know Kuchiro's backstory.
Right.
Because there's something deep there. And if you could see all of that, but of course he had 3.5 hours. He did amazing for what he put in there. But you're right. The whole time he's the clown. He's what everybody's laughing at. And you hit that moment and it's like, you have empathy for him.
Yeah. It explains so much of his character. Just that 30 seconds, man. That 30 seconds, you're like, holy crap. It explains everything and why you are the way you are.
And it didn't seem cheap. And what I mean by that, it seems like some filmmakers will take something in a movie to pull your heartstrings.
Right.
Quick and dirty, kill the dog. Everybody's going to be upset. This had purpose. It had purpose for you.
This was character development.
Right. It wasn't just an emotional grab. And I think that was what was a good move in its aspect. I think so many people just look for tricks. It's the same as having a cat jump out of nowhere and a jump scare. And it's
right.
This was not gratuitous. It wasn't. It was just, it made sense. And I wanted to, at that point, I wanted to know more about him.
Right.
It worked. I actually cared more about the guy then. As annoying as he was with all his yelling, he was the most fun to watch on screen for me.
And he's yelling at everybody for yelling.
Yeah. And they're telling him, why the hell are you always yelling?
Why are you yelling? Everybody's yelling to yell over you. Stop yelling.
Exactly.
Stop being so loud.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say other than it's an awesome flick. It really is. Like you said, anybody who's making movies, writing stories, needs to take a look at this, because it's the whole package. It's the total deal.
Yeah. That's why. Shoot, I forgot his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Works with De Niro a lot.
Director, writer.
Scorsese. Scorsese. Thank you. My God, my mind went completely blank again. It's old age, whatever. Scorsese swears by Kurosawa.
I can see that.
Lucas swears by Kurosawa. A lot of people think that not just Seven Samurai, but the Hidden Fortress was a huge impact on George Lucas developing the Star Wars universe. I don't know about all that. I can see the samurai influence definitely in Star Wars. I don't know much more than that. I mean, a lot of people tried to pull a lot of stuff and go, well, you can see this, you can see that, you can see this from Hidden Fortress. And I've seen Hidden Fortress and I thoroughly enjoy it, but I'm like, when I was watching it, I'm trying to see what they were talking about. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I see the influence as a good movie, character development, and the samurai influence, but more than that, not so much. But like a lot of guys in Hollywood, especially the really good directors, are influenced by Kurosawa.
Well, you can see it.
Definitely see it.
And when you mentioned Scorsese, I definitely see it now. I looked at Goodfellas or any of the other films that he's done, and it's wow, because you've got these big sweeping stories that have so much character development and so much to them. It's definitely there.
Well, it's one thing that I realized watching this movie. I think they've dubbed somewhere along the line. This movie has been dubbed. I don't know that I would ever watch this movie dubbed.
No.
This movie, I don't think you can watch dubbed. I think you have to either learn Japanese or read it, the subtitles. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer. And I'm not a big subtitle guy. I'll be honest with you, but a Kurosawa flick, I will read. I will read all day long because it never feels like you're reading.
Right.
You know, there's so much going on, and he's telling such a good story, so concise. And I think if I ever saw this movie dubbed, none of the voices would ever match in my head because I've seen it so many times in the original version that I just don't see it ever being dubbed well enough for me to go, yep, that's perfect. I'd be like, yeah, no, that's no.
Well,
I have a southern accent.
Since you mentioned that, let's talk about that a minute. Before we go to that, I just want to wrap up my thoughts on Seven Samurai. Excellent film. It should be watched by everybody who's interested in film, likes to watch movies, likes to write movies. If you like movies, you like to turn on your TV, watch Seven Samurai. You won't be disappointed.
I will absolutely concur with that. Seven Samurai is truly, so many people use this term so much, a masterpiece. It really is. It is a masterpiece. It is a master class in how to write, direct, edit. The scenery, the last shot of the hill.
Yeah.
With all the graves.
Yeah.
And the sword sticking out of the top. That type of shot has been used so many times, but never before him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just see that scene and you just like, oh, it's heartbreaking. It just, if you never saw the rest of the movie and you just had that scene come in and you just walked into the movie, you'd be like, that's a movie I want to see. I want to know why those graves are there. It's very telling. It's a master shot. And the characters, everything along the lines of storytelling, watch Kurosawa. Learn from Kurosawa. The man was a master at his craft.
I'd agree.
See the movie.
Absolutely. Watch it. You mentioned earlier, we started talking about dubs and stuff, but you also mentioned Miyazaki. And when it comes to animation, and specifically Miyazaki films from Studio Ghibli, they tend to bring in top voice talent. All in all, I'm very happy to watch a dubbed animation movie.
Oh yeah. Anime, I love. I will watch dubbed.
And because it's so good, and again, that's another master storyteller. Just for the hell of it, what's your favorite Miyazaki film?
I have to go. Probably, I'm going to stick. There's two that I love. Kiki's Delivery Service, because it's such a cute little story.
Right.
And then, damn it, my wife and I were just talking about this one the other day too. I'll have to come back to it.
Okay.
My mind just went blank. It's the one where the little girl goes into the town filled with all the demons.
Oh, it's probably my favorite, Spirited Away.
Spirited Away, thank you. God, I knew the thing. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with me?
That's another master storyteller. That's great. But I never feel like I'm watching something with somebody else's voice. They all tend to fit.
They fit, right.
And like you said with Kurosawa's film, if they'd have dubbed it, it just, because you've seen it so much, it's going to seem off. But it's just, my thoughts on the thing is, I'll read it because if it's a good movie, I don't realize I'm reading.
Exactly.
Because there's more showing, less telling. I think it would be absolutely hard to watch Tarantino or Kevin Smith with subtitles because they rely so heavily on dialogue in their movies.
Oh Lord, could you imagine a Kevin Smith movie? Could you imagine trying to watch Clerks?
The screen would be filled with dialogue.
And nothing would work.
No.
I can't
For some reason,
like
he makes it work.
Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah.
What the hell? Do Americans really talk like this?
Yes. But when you're doing a movie, and when you like with the Seven Samurai, it was not obtrusive. It was easy to follow. I could see what was going on. It doesn't bother me. One of my favorite foreign films is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I love that movie. I couldn't imagine watching that dubbed.
There's people that do, and they swear by it, and it's like, no, how can you? You just can't. I think you miss.
I'd agree.
Yes, the voice actors can deliver on emotion. They can deliver what's needed, and this is not by any means putting down the voice actors who do the dubbing. It's the fact that you had a physical actor who was emoting and delivering voice at the same time. When you change that voice, I think you take away from it. So you know what? In order for me to get the whole feel, give me some words to read, and I will understand what's going on.
Right. Even if it's not a direct translation.
Right. And sometimes I guess that is a problem with the translations are going to be a bit off. But
if you can get close enough, if you can get to the point of what's going on, I'll follow you. I'm like, but what's funny is I don't care if a French movie is English dubbed. I don't care. Like, I'll watch an English dubbed French movie in a heartbeat. But like a Japanese or a Kurosawa, Korean television, they have some of the best freaking soap opera type warrior stuff going on. I won't, like, if they were dubbed, I probably wouldn't watch them. Right. Because again, like you said, the acting and what they're doing at the time it's coming across. I can't imagine them, because somebody in Hollywood would put like some Southern or some Midwest twang or some California dude kind of, this guy's just like really good lucky. No, he's a warrior. Why are you having him talk?
Why are you Keanu Reeves all of a sudden?
Yeah, all of a sudden you're Keanu. Dude, I'm gonna get a fight with my sword. Dude, it's like no.
Well, and that's
just don't.
That's a problem, and that's what I think American studios take a look at. It's like, okay, this movie did so great, we're going to make an American version. Why?
Yeah.
Does the story automatically change because now they're in California and they're blonde hair and blue eyed?
Right.
No. What's wrong with the other story? I don't get it. Here's the thing: Seven Samurai's been redone, but it's a different story. It takes the map of that, and
that's the how basic you remake plot.
It. Yes.
7 guys going to a town to save it from bandits.
Yep.
That's the plot. That's
it.
Seven Samurai.
That's it.
The Magnificent Seven with Yul Brynner.
Yes. Same movie.
Love that movie. Same movie. I mean, same basic story, the whole 9 yards. Trying to think of, there was is it Yojimbo? Yojimbo, I think, is Last Man Standing.
Okay.
And it is, I want to say that's Yojimbo, if I remember my stories correctly. And that movie's been done half a dozen times,
Right.
You go, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
It's just like fistful of dollars. All of those movies.
They all can go right back.
Yeah, you can find every one of them go straight back over to a Kurosawa or an ancient Japanese legend of some sort, some story. Right. That's why they're so good. That's why they're so solid. You stick with what you know, which is a good story.
Right. And that's that's why it gets frustrating. I guess it's that's how you remake it, by doing something, taking that plot line.
Right.
And it just it's almost as if, well, them Americans can't read, let's just redo it. Because Bubba only got his 3rd grade. But
yeah, exactly. It's like they look at everybody in this country and they're like, well, you're too dumb to know what a good story is, so we're going to force feed it to you. And in some cases, yeah, but mostly no. I want to see a good story. I want to. My problem whenever they do a dub is they always go to these big names. They go to like a Keanu Reeves or Michelle Pfeiffer or Mel Gibson, and they get these big names to come in and do these voiceovers because big names sell.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no proof that putting any of their voices into a cartoon sells it any better than if you would have got the guy who's actually trained to be a fucking voice actor,
right?
To come in and do the job. The guy that you've been listening to for the last 30 years doing Batman. Guess what?
Yeah.
You just hire him to do the freaking Batman animated movie that you just did. Yeah. If anybody knows the character, it's him. Why are you hiring somebody else?
Not to go off on a segue, but on the CW's DC Universe, when they had their latest crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Kevin Conroy actually showed up on screen as Batman.
I heard that he was going to do that. So did it work?
It worked great. It was perfect. See? And especially when you heard him. When you heard him, it's, oh, man. Yeah, so it was, yes, it's absolutely perfect. He was able to jump in front of the camera now. And
finally.
It was
where
cool.
He belonged.
Yes.
But yet, there's just certain things. Like, there's some movies I don't want to see. Like you were talking about animation. I will watch a Miyazaki film dubbed, and I will watch a Miyazaki film subtitled. I will watch Kurosawa only subtitled. I think I would probably turn it off if I ever saw it dubbed.
It would be hard to watch.
Yeah, it would be, because none of the voices are going to match what I got in my head from what I've already heard before.
How much of that do you think is the language? Because Japanese is a different flow, a different the way it's delivered. It's going, the body actions, the mouth movement, everything is going to be so off from English. I think it would be jarring to watch.
I think if you were going to do a Japanese movie dub, I think the best way to do it would be to get the anime voiceover actors that are out there now.
Yeah.
Because they can hear a Japanese tone and they can mimic the tone in an English voice. I did a little bit of training in that, and I would have them do a playback in my ear of the original Japanese, and then I would try and intone that in what I was doing.
Right, to actually have that flow.
It helps. It really does help to get the flow. I think you could do that I don't want to say easily, because it's tough. It's completely different, because in Japanese you actually have the lips you're actually in the film.
Mm-hmm.
In anime, you have just lip flaps. They don't really match up. Even in Japanese, they're not actually matching up.
Right.
But I think it would be better to get anime actors to do the voiceovers rather than going out and getting, some big name because, well, he's a big name or she's a big name. Well, she can't voice act or he can't voice act. It's a completely different type of acting. I know some people say acting is acting, but it's really not. It's not. There is a difference in the acting. Some people act and it's all right here. Well, in anime or in cartoons, you don't see this. So if I'm going like this and I'm just doing my eyebrows, oh my God, life is good. But, you're not seeing that, and all you're hearing is this voice going like this for no apparent reason, and you're not seeing the face. It's like none of that's going to make any sense, and it's not going to sound right to your ear.
No, you're challenged as a voice actor to deliver so much just on your voice, and that's
right.
You don't have the nuances of facial movements or eye direction and stuff like that, or just breathing.
And the funny thing is, everybody uses that. Like when you see somebody at the microphone, you see them doing all the faces, and they got their hands clenched and their body's getting tense.
Well, they have to feel it.
That's
like
all part of the acting. That I hate to say it. That's the emoting of the emotion. That's, that's all part of it. That's all part of the
Right.
fun. That's part of the acting. But it's being able to get that into the microphone and then onto the character.
Right.
And that's a lot tougher. I mean, I'm sure you've seen some movies or acting or heard stuff that when you're watching it on a cartoon or in a movie, you're just shaking your head like, where the hell did they get that guy? And then you read the name and it's like some big actor. And you're like, you got paid way too much, Yeah. But that's me. I have a very good soft spot for voiceover actors. I think they're a special. I really do think they're a special kind of actor. They don't get paid enough. That's for damn sure.
No. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And that's, yeah. So I think we're in agreement then. Subtitles, yes.
Subtitles, yes.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and catch us next week when we go outside of the old ass movie mode and review 2016's Hands of Stone.